dear friends, as we mark 2 decades from the terrorist attacks of 9/11. We also dive into this weekend celebrating God's Work Our Hands Sunday. And on this Sunday, we hear of the cross, both in the Sunday Gospel reading, and we prepare to celebrate Holy Cross Day during this coming week. All this combined with the numerous events in our common life as people and nation this week have been warring for space in my mind. It's too much to cover. But I do think that it's all tied into the question of what it means to be a Christian. You see, for us, the questions of how to be in this time, how to respond to politics and tragedies are quite different from the way others might deliberate. We mourn those who are killed, including murderers and terrorists. We are appalled at the abortion of pregnancies as well as by the chronic indifference to the lives and livelihoods of those who are, become, or might become pregnant. We have no doctrine of inalienable human rights, and yet we often ally with those who advocate or work for all humans to have access to food, to medicine, to water, to shelter, to health care, to good governance. We believe that the talking points of modern politics are, in short, often false dichotomies. We are struck as Christians that on 9/11/2001, patriotism was the word that was used for the passengers of United Flight 93 who were willing to die in a struggle for the plane rather than allow it to be flown into the Capitol building. And we are at the least surprised to see the word patriotism used by some to also describe the actions of insurrectionists who stormed the same Capitol building on the 6th of January, 2021. Now, when we see such tensions, we do not ascribe them to evil intentions on behalf of individuals, so much as we ascribe them to the evil forces at play in our world, the evil forces that make such absurdities conceivable. We are struck that a nation so preoccupied with the question of its relationship to Christianity should be the same one which responds to violence with violence, one which kills convicts and allows the poor to die of neglect, one in which protesters against extra-legal killings by police are assumed to approve of the murder of those same police. In a world of absurdities, what on earth is God's work? And how are our hands going to go about it? To answer this, we look to the sources of our faith and the witness of the saints, and ultimately, we look to the cross. There, where God wrote our salvation and the only theology we have, we find that the contradiction of the crucified victor is not only for us, but also a description of us. We are the people of the cross, and that must, at the least, mean that we are not the same people. We are not the people who reject the contradiction of life coming from death, who reject doing good to those who do us harm. At the very least, the cross marks us as a different, a peculiar people, set apart from other people, and yet given to those people as a gift. The ancient, most people think it happened in the 2nd century, letter to Dionysius says it this way. For the Christians are distinguished from other men, neither by country, nor language, nor the customs which they observe. For they neither inhabit cities of their own, nor employ a peculiar form of speech, nor lead a life which is marked out by any singularity. The course of conduct which they follow has not been devised by any speculation or deliberation of inquisitive men, nor do they, like some, proclaim themselves the advocates of any merely human doctrines. But inhabiting Greek as well as barbarian cities, according as the lot of each of them has determined, and following the customs of the natives in respect to clothing, food, and the rest of their ordinary conduct, they display to us their wonderful and confessedly striking method of life. They dwell in their own countries, but simply as sojourners. As citizens, they share in all things with others, and yet endure all things as if foreigners. Every foreign land is to them as their native country, and every land of their birth as a land of strangers. They marry, as do all others. They beget children, but they do not destroy their offspring. They have a common table, but not a common bed. They are in the flesh, but they do not live after the flesh. They pass their days on earth, but they are citizens of heaven. They obey the prescribed laws and at the same time surpass the laws by their lives. They love all men and are persecuted by all. They are unknown and condemned. They are put to death and restored to life. They are poor, yet make many rich. They are in lack of all things and yet abound in all. They are dishonored, and yet in their very dishonor are glorified. They are evil spoken of, and yet are justified. They are reviled, and bless. They are insulted, and repay the insult with honor. They do good, yet are punished as evildoers. When punished, they rejoice as if quickened to life. They are assaulted by the Jews as foreigners, and are persecuted by the Greeks, yet those who hate them are unable to assign any reason for their hatred. This weekend, take up your cross, dear friends, and follow Christ.